Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds in 3 years. If you do enjoy my videos, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Also, click on that bell icon so you'll get alerted when I go live or post new videos. Also, thumbs up this video as well. It really helps out. If you'd like to participate on the discussion, you can join me on my live streams, or outside of the live streams, you can consider joining the Discord I've created. There's a link for that down in the description below. Also, if you're interested in getting some ideas of the meals that we enjoy on our whole food plant-based diet, we have created a link for that down below. There's a Pinterest board link for that down below. Carrie's checking in saying, hello, Mr. Fa. Hello, Carrie. I hope everything is going great today at home. I'm going to go ahead and hop on the scale and do the weigh-in today and get it over with. Eek. So, I guess I should do everything I normally do. So a quick recap. I started this challenge in November of 2020 with a starting weight of 519.8 pounds. Last week, after an incredible over 7-pound weight loss, I was 298.8. I did have my 40th birthday and a long weekend, so we're going to get on the scale here and see what today's weight is. $303.2. So that was a 4.4 pound weight gain for the week. Carrie said that I also did have some really yummy brownies that she made for my birthday. It was 303.2, I think. I'm going to say that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So, yeah, it was one of those weeks, I mean, for 2 weeks in a row, I had a 7-pound loss. So I've lost almost 15 pounds in the last 2 weeks. There was bound to be a little bit of an uptick on it. I probably could have made better choices as far as volume and stuff, but when you're fasting, so much of that weight that is you're down, is just the not having food in your stomach. It's not really actual body fat or any real weight that I've gained. So I'm not too concerned about it. I kind of knew that it would be pretty tough for me to stay under that 300 after how hard I worked last week. And again, it's just another day, and it makes me even more motivated for next week to try to knock off, a little bit of that 3.2 pounds to get back under 300 pounds. But overall, total weight loss is still at like 217 pounds. So I'm pretty excited about how things have been going overall. We're going to switch over to the main stage here. I hope everybody had, I'm going to move this. I hope everybody had a great evening. We had a lot of fun last night, something that 2 years ago I would not have done, and that is awesome just to be able to do something that I wouldn't have done 2 years ago. And what that is that my daughter is in a rec league soccer, and they did a fun thing last night where the parents and kids kind of did a little scrimmage for a little bit. And I had an opportunity to run around and play with the kids and kind of feel like a kid again. A couple people checking in here. Aunt Day's Kitchen says, new follower from Chef AJ. You have about 200 more pounds to lose. That's, it's a lot of weight to lose. And I know it takes a long time to do it. I hope you've been doing well. And, have you been have you lost weight so far? You have 200 pounds to lose. I guess how you've been doing. Blind guy, his wife, and their life says, hi, everyone. Hi, blind guy. I hope you, your wife, and your lives are doing great. So last night, yes, got to run around, play with the kids a little bit, and show off my soccer skills. There was a meme I saw years ago that I had shared. I always thought was funny, is that it says something along the lines of, I don't always play soccer with 4-year-olds, but when I do, I feel like effing Pele. And so that's kind of how it feels when you're playing with a bunch of third graders. You feel like you're doing all right. I did biff it a few times or not do a great job. Rachel saying, new follower from Chef AJ. Great to have you here. Wendy just saw me on Chef AJ. Wonderful story. And now you're subscribed and following you. Thanks, guys, for all of the follows. I will talk a little bit about the Chef AJ stuff here in a second. That was pretty awesome today to get an opportunity to share my story there. Chrissy, hi. You're the wife. Your husband's lost 69 pounds while on a plant-based lifestyle. It is incredible how awesome eating this way has been for me. And, 2 years ago, I never would have considered this. It wasn't on my radar when I started this. And now I sit here in front of a camera all the time saying that if you've sat there and can say you've tried everything, you're probably lying to me, because I bet you haven't tried a plant-based diet. Because I used to say it all the time. I would be like, I've tried everything. I've done the Atkins. I've done the keto. I've done the low carb. I've done calories in, calories out. And nothing works. And now I found something that works. And I believe that if more people knew this, more people tried this, that there would be a lot more success stories out there in the world. Courtney Power says, here from Chef AJ. Thanks, guys. So yeah, last night got to run around with the kids, played with them a little bit. You've lost about 30 pounds only so far, or so far you only weigh in at the doctor's office. Yeah. So it's tough to know if it's between those, when you're weighing between those points, but yeah, as long as it's going in the right direction. And even if it's not going in a great direction, if you're eating this way, I don't think you can feel guilty about it. For a while there, I've plateaued, and a big part of the reason I plateaued was because I was eating things that had a little bit higher calorie density. I had a lot of avocado. I had this avocado toast recipe that I felt was amazing. It was avocado toast with miso. It was toast with miso, a lot of avocado on it, and then this mango pico de gallo that we would get from Aldi's. I loved it, and it was really kind of keeping me from losing weight. I was maintaining the weight while I was eating those things, but I didn't feel guilty about it, because I know that everything that I put in my body is much better than the food that I used to be eating before. Paul Brown says, awesome. Thanks, Paul. So last night I did end up not eating any kind of real food last night, because I knew my weight was up after the birthday and the long weekend. So generally when I'm trying to, I don't do like a water fast as much anymore, but I'll juice fast. And my juice of choice is a cherry juice that we pick up from Costco. I'm too lazy to actually get a juicer and actually do my own juicing, I suppose. But there's this wonderful cherry juice that we get in 64 ounces bottles from Costco that I had that last night. And then I had some mandarin oranges. So just kind of some fruit just to give me the energy to get through the night. And then the same thing this morning. Yes. Aunt Day's Kitchen says it is a marathon, not a sprint. Try mixing green peas in your avocado. Oh, that would really, that would make it go further and probably add some flavor to it. Right now, we just don't have any avocado in the house. It's the easiest for us, I think, is to just abstain from it. And my intention is that when I do get down to my goal weight, that I would introduce avocado a little bit back into my diet. Carrie says it's tart cherry juice. Yes, the cherry juice I get from Costco is a tart cherry juice. It's supposed to help with inflammation. I feel like it helps. I used to have a lot of swelling around my legs, and just overall it's good. It's a good juice. I prefer it over apple juice, I guess. So then this morning kind of had the same thing, a couple oranges, some cherry juice. I did have a handful of cashews just because I figured that it would give me a good amount of calories and not be a ton of weight. And so I did have some cashews this morning, but try to limit those the best I can. Those I would say are my, the cashews, and then the dehydrated mango, which I don't ever really feel guilty about, the dehydrated mango that we get from Costco. Those would be my two vices. The Shrinking Shadow says, hello, you got here late. Saw I was on Chef AJ's show. Thanks. Congrats on my transformation. Do you one meal a day, or have you one meal a day? So I do sometimes one meal a day. And when I eat, it's generally quite a bit. I'm all over the place, I guess. The base diet, or my base diet, is a 2 meal a day diet. I eat oatmeal in the morning or have something for breakfast in the morning. And then I don't eat all day while I'm at work. I don't have any food here. In the past, when I first started this, I would have some canned corn or pineapple, things like that. But now I don't eat anything during the day. And then when I get home at night, that's generally when I do most of my eating. So from about 5 p.m. till 6:37, I don't really restrict what I eat. I just kind of have a long eating window, eat dinner, maybe a couple servings at dinner, might have a snack. One of my favorite snacks is just some shredded wheat with this West soy milk that we get, and some raisins. And if I'm feeling like I didn't have a good volume of food at dinner, I'll have that shredded wheat to kind of fill my gut, to be like, okay, well, now I definitely got a good volume of food. So the 1 meal a day, I kind of go to that right now. I've been doing that more in the past few weeks because I've really been trying to push my weight down. I had been hovering around the 310 to 320 pound mark for months. Really, I kind of plateaued at that for months. And then in the last few weeks, I've really been pushing. So I would say that I've been eating more of a OMAD for the past 2 weeks, but it's not kind of my standard diet. Do I follow Josh LeJaunie? I do not follow Josh LeJaunie, but if you look down in the description below, I have a list of all of the books that I have have listened to in the past year and a half. And I believe the book that he wrote is in that list. I unfortunately do not have that right in front of me. Let me see if it was the last. No, I don't think it was the last thing. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that his book is the book that I read. It's about running. Born to Run. No, he's not Born to Run. Oh, this is gonna drive me nuts. I'm gonna look it up while I'm doing the stream here. So that's what's gonna happen. Let's see. Josh LeJaunie. Sick to Fit. Howard Jacobson. Yes. Sick to Fit. I listened to that book. I really did enjoy his book and his story. He's got a great story about his weight loss. So I have heard of him, but I don't follow him on Instagram. I'm not great on Instagram. I do have an Instagram account. If you guys want to follow my Instagram account, it's at Fasting. That's FAHSTING. But I am not great about posting on that because I'm just not an Instagram kind of guy. I never really was into it before I started this, but I thought it would be a great place to I created that, and I have shared some update photos, and I do share things on it, but I'm not great on it. When doing OMAD, do you worry about getting enough calories, or I just eat till I'm full? Yeah, I haven't considered calories in this whole time. Since I started this, I haven't given any consideration to calories. The calorie density, I really believe, is kind of a big part of the success of my diet, is that I just generally eat things that have a density of lower than 600 calories per pound. And I find that is what gives me the best success, is to not worry about counting the calories. Because really, I mean, some days I'm sure, like when I go home and we have our salad for dinner, the calories are really low, but the volume is really high. So I don't really get cravings or anything to eat more. It says, awesome, counting calories sucks. You love calorie density. Yeah. I mean, it's it really has changed my perspective on things. I had done a video, I think, about it in the past, or I know I've talked about it in the past, but I think there's a lot of focus on this calories in, calories out, and it misses the point just a little bit. I think that it's more about calories absorbed versus calories out, because there's a lot of times where you eat something that your body doesn't even get a chance to absorb it because you didn't chew down the cell wall enough. You know, the best or the easiest example that you can give is corn. When you eat corn, a lot of times after you go to the bathroom, you notice that your body didn't digest that corn. And so that had calories. Like if you're doing the equation, then you would have to count that as calories, but your body didn't actually absorb it. So I find that eating foods as close to their whole form makes it so that it's tougher for our bodies to absorb it. When you start blending these things or extracting the nutrients or removing the fiber, then these foods become much more absorbable in our system. And so I just don't worry about the calorie counting. Aunt Day says, when they drive an 18-wheeler and you got to drive, so you can't talk, but you'd be listening. That's not a problem. You be safe. I know how fun driving on the road can be for distances. My family, we run a moving company. We don't have any 18-wheelers, but I have driven all across the country moving people from where we live everywhere else. High nutrients for the win. Yes, that is something that another book I read was Joel Fuhrman's Eat to Live, I think is the name of his book. And he talks a lot about nutrient density and how that should be your focus, is to eat foods that are very high in nutrients and not so much worry about the calories in the food, or get high nutrient, low calorie foods is the best thing to do. Yes. So that was the food. Yeah, I didn't eat a lot of food since yesterday because I was trying to keep my weight down or keep it going in the right direction. And so that was that. The big thing that did happen to me today, obviously a lot of you guys that are on here watching right now are watching me from my Chef AJ interview. I appreciate you guys coming over here and checking out my live stream and asking me questions. And if you do have any questions, feel free to ask me anything. I'm pretty much an open book about things. That's part of the reason I created this channel, was to be open about my experience while it's happening. You know, a lot of times I feel like if somebody was in a position where they knew that they were going to be up 4 pounds on the scale today, they wouldn't get on the scale. And that's not what I'm doing here. I got on the scale and I showed you guys that I gained weight in the last week. It's part of the whole process. And you're going to have ups and downs, and it's not, you know, like you said, it's a sprint, not a marathon. It's not a quick process. There's ebbs and flows, and you got to face those things when they happen. And so, yeah, if anybody has any questions, let me know. But anyways, Chef AJ. I've known about Chef AJ for 17 and a half months, I guess. It was something that when I started this fast, I wasn't sure what diet I was going to go on at the end of the fast. And then about halfway through the fast is when I learned about the True North Clinic and what they were doing. And then one of the big reasons I didn't even really get to thank her today, I thanked her through email, but one of the big reasons that I'm even here and can say that I've lost 200 pounds is because she took the time to do the audiobook version of The Pleasure Trap. Because if I would have had to have sat down and read the actual book, I don't know that I would have taken the effort. I have about a half-hour drive from my home to work every day and then a half-hour back. So it's really easy for me to just put an audiobook on and listen to an audiobook while I'm driving back and forth from work. And so that's where I was introduced to Chef AJ, was because she's the one that read the Pleasure Trap book. And then I've kind of followed her on Facebook and on YouTube. I don't watch a lot of her videos, or I haven't seen a ton of her interviews, but I reached out to her, I guess 4 months ago or so, and was just kind of like, hey, this is my story. I want to thank you for giving me, or for making this accessible to me, and just kind of let people know that it's doable. You can lose weight while eating plants. And so she got back and scheduled something and kind of even bumped it up, which was great. And so I've known about the interview for a few months. I was pretty nervous about what I was going to say. I had no idea what I was going to talk about on the show with her today. It ended up talking a lot about, same things I talk about on here most days, but it was so gracious for her to let me come on, share my story. I don't have a real big YouTube channel, and just in the last week or so, I have been, I've had 150 new subscribers because I'm sure that my information got sent out in her newsletter, I imagine is where I got some of them. And then everybody today signing up has been amazing. Lucid says, is there a video where you elaborate on your first 40-day fast, like how the first week was, etc.? So I have, the best thing I could say is that I went live almost every weekday since I started this. So if you go to my videos and you go to my oldest videos, they are day one, maybe it's day 3, but it's the first week of my water fast. And I had incredible results my first week. I mean, I was pushing it at 520 pounds. You almost have to be trying to be that weight. Like, the effort I was putting into the amount of food that I was eating was ridiculous. And in the first week of my water fast, I lost over 30 pounds in that first 7 days. And so that's kind of why I created this journal too, is that so people could go back and maybe follow along with, my journey and their journey, or to watch my older videos. I think I have a playlist created of that kind of 40-day period where I'm doing the water fast. So, that would be a way to see how I was thinking, or what I was thinking, or what was going on in the moment. Just in answering your question now, how was the first week of my water fast? It was not different. So water fasting is so weird because I don't find it to be a difficult process to water fast. I think that the hardest thing about the first week of water fasting, a lot of times for people, is that they are going from an awful diet into a water fast. So for me, I would go from eating highly processed foods, having caffeine filled drinks, having energy drinks, and all this other stuff. And then, I actually remember you, Lucid. I know who you are, actually. And then, so those first few days are rough. And I think that on any water fast, the first 3 days, your body's, still trying to tell you to go get food, go find food, and losing. And we live in a world where you have to choose not to eat. We didn't evolve in that world. We live in that world now. So, the first few days are tough, but I think a lot of it is getting over those addictions to caffeine and sugar. Like, if you could clean up your diet, if you could eat a super healthy, unprocessed diet for that week or two going into a water fast, I think it would be a little bit easier. But for me, it's getting through that 3rd to 5th day. That's where the difficulty is. Once you hit that 6th, 7th day, you kind of get into that like mode. You're just in the fast. And from that day till the end, there's not much of a difference of mood or attitude or any increase in fatigue. And another thing, I talked about it on Chef AJ's show a little bit today, is that you shouldn't try to up your activity while you're water fasting. It's just not something that does well in the long term. Your body is in conservation mode and you need to conserve energy. So if you have a job that demands that you're on your feet all day, or it requires a lot of energy to do your job, doing an extended water fast could be difficult. But I also feel like doing a 40-day fast is not for everybody. And the biggest benefit for fasting is using it as a reset. I had great weight loss while I was fasting, but the best thing that ever happened to me was that when I got done fasting, I switched to a whole food plant-based SOS free diet. Like that gave me that platform to jump off of, so that doing the whole food plant-based SOS free diet was easier than if I would have just gone from the standard American diet to the whole food plant-based SOS free diet. And then you're such an inspiration. I also have your YouTube same name as my hand. Okay, yeah. My goal is to help others with struggle with weight loss. I'm so happy you find your channel. Let's do this. Yes, awesome. Thanks. I follow your channel, the shrinking. I follow your channel too. Lucid, I'm almost positive that we've talked on Reddit. I'm pretty positive that we've messaged on Reddit in the past, but it could be a different name. There's other people that have messaged that same name, I'm sure, but I could be wrong. So yeah, it's funny. Yeah, the Shrinking Shadow. A lot of times I get on YouTube and I'll search for whole food plant-based, WFPF and or FPB. And then, okay, I guess it wasn't you then. That's not a problem. There was somebody else, like I said, that had Lucid in their name, and I kind of assumed it was the same person, but I was wrong. Not a big deal. Yeah. So yeah, I follow a lot of channels that are small. I search for whole food plant-based, and then I look back at, I sort it by upload date and then the last week. And then I follow a lot of people that are doing these things like that. You're welcome for that. You said thank you for following my channel. Yeah, I think that YouTube's a great platform for accountability. It's easy to do something like this. I mean, there was some effort for me to set up, and all you see is what the camera sees. You don't see the lighting I have and the monitor and the mic and all the other things I have going on to make this happen. But overall, if you want to just create an accountability platform, YouTube's a great place. Instagram's a great place. TikTok's becoming a great place. Lucid's asking if I calorie count and do I have a restricted eating window. I do not calorie count. I do a little bit of restrictive eating, especially if I'm trying to lose weight. I will not eat. I won't eat till dinner a lot of times. I'll try to fast from the night before as long as I can till dinner that day. But I don't count calories. It's more about the calorie density is what I kind of focus on when I look at my meals. I try to make sure that I'm not eating anything too crazy. The biggest calorie density thing I have is like the cashews, or there's a nut butter that we get from Walmart. It's called Crazy Richard's peanut butter that has got no added salt, oil, or sugar, that I will throw that on some low sodium Ezekiel bread and have that as in fact, that's probably going to be a snack I have tonight, is Ezekiel bread with the Crazy Richard's peanut butter. It's been, oh gosh, probably a week since I've had that. I've had the stuff in the cupboard. I just haven't I haven't busted it out. So that is probably on the menu for tonight. I'm not sure what else we're having for dinner. Wendy says, love this. Thank you. Thank you for following and watching the broadcast. So yeah, I was on Chef AJ today and it was a huge bump. I got 12 viewers today right now, or whatever it says on their screen for you guys. I'm not sure, but that was a great experience for me to get on there. Carrie says, good, because the meatloaf we're having tonight might be a little while before I get home. Yes, I don't have any problem trying to find myself a snack when I get home, because I kind of restrict that eating window you were asking about. When I get home, I'm usually what you would call ravenous, as far as I'm looking for something to eat. I'll grab a couple oranges, maybe an apple or a banana to snack on right away. And then if dinner's not ready, I will make some Ezekiel bread or make that shredded wheat that I was talking about. You said you've never tried the Crazy Richard's peanut butter, but you'll look for it. Yeah, like I said, it's probably high calorie density. And I try to not go crazy with it. I definitely would say that is one of my two biggest indulgences, that and the dehydrated mango from Costco. Once I get a bag of that, it's hard to put it down. And it's a 2.5 pound bag. So, that can add up, calorie wise. Once you start eating the dehydrated foods, then the calorie density does go up a little bit. Trying to think. Yeah. So Chef AJ, cool interview. Great to get on there, answer the questions from her and from her audience, and just share my experience. Cause I think that this has been such an eye-opening thing for me, because I went into this with fasting as my intention, that I was going to be doing fasting. I'd be on here talking about how I was doing 1 meal a day, or how I'm doing alternate day fasting, or I'm doing a 5-day fasting window, 2-day eating window. And then I got hit with this whole food plant-based thing, and it completely changed the direction that I went into. I still do fasting. I've done one, I guess it depends on what you consider an extended fast. I fasted for 3 days, a few times in the past 6 months. But I did a 10-day fast, a couple months after my 42-day fast. And, but for me, I'm eating, I'll eat a ridiculous amount of food for my dinner. And then the next morning I get up and I get on the scale and I'm a pound down, and it blows my mind that I can eat such a large volume of food and it not have a negative impact on my weight. It's just not the way that I was taught, or that they put out there. And so much of it is what these companies are putting out there. And if you follow me long enough, I'll go on a rant about that. Today is probably not the day. Let's see. Pretty Girl's mom says, hey, Jonathan, here with you. Thanks to Chef AJ. Blind Guy's wife says, we have a plant-based treat segment on our live show. I need to add a peanut butter and jelly, or even a peanut butter toast, because people are always forget that that's whole food plant-based. Yeah, that's one of my kids. When we sometimes we make dinner and our kids don't like the dinner, or they choose to not even try the dinner because they don't like how it looks. And so that's one of the go-tos that they'll have, is like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich their bread's a little bit fancier than my bread, and their peanut butter is a little bit fancier than my peanut butter. But yeah, that's a vegan item. Like, that's one of the things that is a staple across the country that is not something that's got animal products in it. JM said, just found my channel. Congrats on my ongoing success. Do you find that your mood has improved through a whole food plant-based eating? Yes. My mood has greatly improved. I would have always said that I was a cheery person, or I was a positive person. But I have definitely noticed a difference in especially in the last 5 months. So the last half of 2021, I kind of was letting some salt, oil, and sugar. I would say that I was 95% compliant on a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet. But that 5% was holding me back, and I recommitted at the beginning of this year and have been doing really well. There's been a few blips, but whatever, life goes on. But for me, what it has done is it has taken food out of my equation when it comes to my mood. Like, I don't derive happiness from my food. I don't get out of a slump or being tired by eating food anymore. I find that I fill my life up with activities with my family or working harder, and those things have a greater impact on my mood than the food has. There's a lot of things out there that, you know, eating a lot of this processed food probably drains your mood. You know, like you get that quick dopamine hit. This is actually something they talk about a lot in the Pleasure Trap book, is that there is moods and then there's the pleasure. And so like the example they give is they talk about a young gentleman who notices a new female that moves into town, and his moods cause him to take actions towards trying to achieve mating with this woman. And when we live in our society now, is that we don't have to go through all those moods. We can just get the payoff of the benefit of the high calorie food. So in the past, in order to get a high calorie food, you might have to hike for 50 miles, or you might have to fight somebody away from a tree that has a fruit that you want. And so you have moods of joy and moods of anger and moods of discomfort throughout the process to get to that pleasure. Now we don't have to go through any of those things. We just get to have that pleasure. So those moods don't get to help dictate how things are going. Let's see. His wife says, I thought my kids were the only ones with PB&J as a backup dinner. My husband still has a hard time with sodas. Do you have any go-to drinks? My go-to drink is cherry juice that we get from Costco. I don't know why I like it. I mean, it was something that when I was doing my training to do a sprint triathlon last year, there was a lot of things I was seeing that talked about how cherry juice was anti-inflammatory and it was great for recovery. And so I would drink that tart cherry juice from Costco. Actually, the stuff we used to get was from Walmart, but it had a little bit of apple juice mixed into it. And it actually on the label, it says it had added sugar, even though it wasn't in the ingredients. So I guess the added sugar was from the apple juice. Anyways, the Walmart cherry juice, the tart cherry juice from Walmart, was a 32-ounce bottle, and it was like $5.50. Costco has a 64-ounce bottle of tart cherry juice for like $6.50. So for $1 more, you get twice as much cherry juice, and it doesn't say it has the added sugar in it. And so I switched to the Costco cherry juice probably 6 months ago. But that's kind of my go-to drink. If I want something with flavor, I eat a lot of oranges, which I kind of consider oranges like drinking a juice because it's such a high water content in the oranges. But yeah, with our kids, the peanut butter and jelly is a go-to if they don't want dinner. A lot of times we'll just tell them we'll eat an apple or eat banana, eat some fruit, just to get something in their stomach. We want them to eat, and so we try to provide some things for them to have. Rice, Carrie will cook up a large batch of rice that we'll just have in the fridge, that if the kids want rice, they can have rice, and we put liquid aminos in it. And they like that a lot, the brown rice. Let's see here. Angela says, just found your channel. You find this really specific because I have seen many keto weight loss challenges channels, while yours is an extreme weight loss success with plants. Shout this from the rooftops. Yes. Yes. Shout it from the rooftop. Share this video. Let everybody that know that I exist. Hit the subscribe button, the like, and the share. All the comment, all that stuff below. Help spread the channel. For me, it has just been about sharing my progress so far. I still have a ways to go. I'm 85 pounds from my goal weight, but I've already lost 215 or 220. So it has been a slow process, and that was something that, you find lots of keto channels. There's lots of different channels on YouTube doing different things. And when I started this, I kind of thought I might be one of those keto weight loss channels. Like that was on the table. That was a potential thing. And I'm so happy that I didn't do that, because I know I couldn't have maintained it like I'm able to maintain this. And this has been such an eye-opening experience. I constantly refer to it as like the Matrix, the red pill, blue pill kind of thing, where if you take the one pill, it opens your eyes up to this whole world that you didn't know existed. And that was something that I can't change that now. The information I know now, I can't unlearn it. And so it would be a surprise for me if anything were to change. And Carrie says, and plants are way more affordable than meat is. Yes, it is incredibly more affordable. And it's almost sad that even the price, the whole vegan conversation is something that I am working towards being a vegan. I don't intentionally buy anything that has any I don't eat anything with animal products in it. It's the rest of life that I've replaced my down comforter with a different type of blanket. Every pair of shoes I've bought for the past year has been a shoe that doesn't have any leather in it. So I'm making those choices. It's amazing how difficult it is to avoid animal products outside of the world, and how it's just part of your life, and I still have like my wallet, and I still have belts that have leather in them, because I almost feel like at this point to throw them away is diminishing to the life that animal gave for me to have that wallet and for me to have that belt, and that it would be a shame to discard the life that they gave up for those items. So, but it happens every day pretty easily. And the fact that we can buy a chicken for $6, like you took that whole being's existence and you wrapped it into a $6 package, like it's not possible. Like there's no way that without government subsidies and without other that it could be possibly only cost $6 for that whole chicken to have existed and then show up on a skewer at the place. Let's see, very affordable. Yes. You make your own meat from vegetables and vital wheat gluten. And I have a friend recently who couldn't believe that I can make 1 to 2 months worth for $25 to $30. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that Carrie used something similar to that vital wheat gluten recently. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah. And I don't miss meat at all. Like the tougher part of any of it was giving up the dairy. And for me, the salt. I talked about it a little bit on Chef AJ's channel, but we have too much salt in our diet. Like, it's everywhere. And it's because it's such an easy, cheap way to flavor up food for people. And so for me, the idea of, even if I were to say, and I'm not, but like when I first started this, I was like, well, if I ate meat, but I ate it without salt, oil, or sugar, I don't think it would be very appetizing. I don't think that sounds good at all. And there's a lot of salt in cheese and dairy. And so, Carrie says, right, a pound of beans is like $1. Yeah. And then we started soaking our own beans, or we do them in the Instapot, but we were buying canned garbanzo or chickpeas from the store for like $1.50 a can. And then we started buying the bags that were like a pound for 80 cents. And then you get like 4 times the amount of beans than you got in a can. So it's even cheaper if you're going to soak them yourself or use an Instapot to soak them. And it really, it gets expensive when you start getting into buying the processed meats, like the Gardein foods, and the Beyond Meat and the Impossible Burgers. Those get really expensive. But if you eat rice, beans, potatoes, those things are super cheap and very filling, and you can do a lot with them. I mean, there's, Carrie used chickpeas to make, these chicken nuggets a few weeks ago that it's, you get the flavor right and it's good. And I've also let go of a lot of my preconceived notions about what my food should taste like. In the past, every meal had to be the best one. It's kind of a drug addict's thing. They call it, chasing the dragon, where each time you take a drug, you try to make it elevate you higher than the previous time, but your body gets used to it, so it never happens. And food, I think, is the same way when you're eating these highly processed foods, that you're always chasing that dragon to try to get the most dopamine response from the food that you eat. So, I am going to head out today. I got to go home and get some food in my belly. I appreciate everybody that was on the live stream today. I really hope you do come back and watch my live stream some more. I appreciate everybody who's joined the channel in the past week. I appreciate everybody who's been following me since the beginning. You guys know who you are, and I appreciate you guys being around and keeping me accountable, and the continued support. Hit the subscribe button, like, all that stuff. If you haven't started your diet yet, get started right now. There's no reason to wait. There's nothing coming up this weekend. There's no party that you have to attend. That is more important than focusing on your health and your overall well-being. Nobody gets to their goals, looks back and says, man, I wish I would have waited that weekend. I wish I wouldn't have started the day that I started. I wish I would have waited a week or two. Nobody who gets to their goal says that. Everybody looks back and says, I wish I would have started sooner. I wish I would have known how awesome I feel now. I wish I would have known this. And I'm not even to my goal yet, and I stay the same. I say the same thing. I wish I would have started 2 weeks earlier. The time that I took to set up this live stream thing and do this, I wish I would have been dieting then. I wish the day I got on the scale and I was over 500 pounds in March of 2020 that I would have started my diet that day, but it took me another 5-6 months to get going. So get started right now, and don't fall for the myths of moderation. The myth of moderate change, the idea that you can slowly change and eventually you'll get into this perfect diet. The idea that, okay, before I eat dinner every night, I'm going to start eating a salad, and then eventually my whole diet, my whole meal will just be that salad. Your body doesn't work that way. As long as you have access to these high calorie, high dopamine response foods, your body's going to crave them. It's going to go towards them. So you have to make a change. And if you want to see big changes in your life, you have to make big changes. The other myth is the myth of moderate consumption. The idea that eating even just a little bit of something unhealthy is okay, is what these corporations do to keep us hooked on their products. You know, eat just a little bit of this, or eat in moderation, or just having, you know, what's one cracker, what's one cookie going to do? You know, you can't stop yourself. Once you get access to that food, you'll eat it until it's gone. And the idea that you can cut your portions down, it will work for a short period of time. If you take that meal that you order, or that meal you get, instead of having a full plate, you cut it in half, you can maintain that for a few weeks, a few months even, but you cannot maintain that your whole life. There's nobody that's sitting here saying that they are 5 years into eating a half plate of food and it's still going great for them, because eventually your body will convince you to just indulge, and then you'll indulge and it throws everything off. So don't fall for the 2 myths of moderation. Blind Guy, his wife says, great meeting you, and pretty please share this chickpea nugget recipe sometime. Wendy says, heart. Shy's checking in. Hey Shy, I hope you're doing great today. Thanks everybody for following along. I will be live tomorrow. So I will be live at 4 p.m. Central Time tomorrow. We will see you then. Everybody have a great evening.